Alex, thanks for coming on podcast. Um, we always start with a very brief introduction of who you are and what you do, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, sure. So my name is Alex. I basically am an Amazon expert. I've been selling on Amazon for over 8 years, and also I've been running an agency called Lezzat, which essentially helps small, medium, and large businesses grow their sales on Amazon globally. So that's what I do.
Perfect. Do you just want to take us on a quick tour of your career up until starting the business and what you were doing there?
Okay. Well, I did my degree and master's in Aberystwyth, in the middle of nowhere in Wales, a very pretty nowhere, I must add. It's a very lovely place. And so that's where I did my degree in business and marketing. Then I essentially started working for a UK IT firm called Logica. Logica was UK's biggest IT company. Then that company got acquired by another company in Canada. So I stayed there for about 5 years, essentially, looking at B2B marketing and basically helping with getting subject matter expertise and translating it into normal language from IT folks to normal folks.
Yeah.
Then I took a year off. I became a snowboard instructor, which is quite a different career. I went to Canada and New Zealand. I did that. I was teaching people how to snowboard, which was a lot of fun. Then we kind of ran out of money, so we had to get back to the UK and get another job. So I landed into an engineering firm called Atkins, where I did again marketing for them, and then went to a startup and then did marketing there as well. And then basically it's one of those cases where all things happen at once. So basically I was in a very serious car crash. The house I was staying in was up for sale. So the landlady was kicking us out. I had some issues with my private life and so on. So I was like, well, hold on a minute. This B2B marketing in IT, what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. At that point, a friend of mine just discussed the topic of Amazon. So he told me about a priest in USA selling Tupperware, like those things that you take with you to work to eat. And he was making 6 million on Amazon. So I was like, whoa, if he's making 6 million, then certainly I can do something about it. So that's how I entered the world of Amazon. And fast forward, and now I run two companies. One sells products on Amazon, and the other one is the agency where it helps companies grow on Amazon. So that's a quick 2 minute tour of my career and how I'm here.
Good stuff. We'll go into the business then. Do you want to mostly talk about the agency side of
Sure.
things? Or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah. So we'll go into the early days of the agency. How long ago is that you started that?
6.5 years.
6.5 years. So I guess where most agencies start is it's just you in the business. You're doing everything from delivery to getting new business. What are the what are the first things that you start to move away from? And maybe before that, start with what are you actually delivering for clients on the Amazon stuff?
Yeah. Okay. So, look, in terms of an agency, I would say that probably Amazon is definitely one of the most difficult ones to start because it's a multidisciplinary one. So it's like saying to someone, the way that I frame it, it's like saying to someone, I want to increase my sales on my website, so increase my sales. It has a lot of elements. It has SEO, it has PPC, advertising, it has design, it has copy, it has consulting. So it has many things inside. Now, I started essentially with the consulting bit and what they should be doing, how to increase this. Then it moved into, well, actually, Alex, all good, but can you actually do that for us? So it kind of eventually moved into me doing that sort of work for them, whether it was advertising, whether it was some of the listing copies or things like that. That some bigger contracts came along, so I had to fulfill those. So I reached out to some other freelancers to see if I can support. Then as that grew, I was able to hire those people full time. And then that's basically how things started and grew from there.
Cool. When does when did when do so you're using freelancers, but do you get to the point of like bringing on people full time?
Now,
So how far into the journey does that happen? Yeah.
well, I would say it's it's something that you will naturally understand that you need to do because and mind you, this is my take on it. Not that I'm an agency guru or such. I didn't come from an agency background. So I came from the selling on Amazon and doing marketing background. So to that extent, it came natural to me because I saw that I'm not able to deliver to the quality that I want, the services that I want. So for me, creating the agency, I was very passionate about making sure that we're an honest agency because in our field, there's also a lot of dishonesty and people just don't do what they are contracted to do. So I started with that in mind. And then when I saw that actually, these clients require more work than I can actually give them, then that was a decision of bringing someone full time. And actually, the maths worked out in terms of how much you get paid on your retainer versus what you would pay them in salary. So then you basically take the leap of faith and say, well, I'm going to bring that person on board. And they work alongside you as such.
Yeah.
At that point, you wear multiple hats. So you do the marketing, you do the sales, you do the delivery, you do the everything, the invoicing, the billing, everything. Some content on YouTube, etc., helped me understand which points I should be giving of what. But that was about it in terms of when the first person joined the company.
Yeah. Cool. And just over 6 years you've been going. What's been the main driver for growing in terms of like getting new business in? I guess that you started off with the relationship with your friend, and then you do a good job for somebody and you get referrals in. But has there been any other channels that you've used to grow? I guess coming from a marketing and sales and marketing background helps.
Yeah, well, there's quite a few channels. So we've tried SEO, for example. We've tried email. We've tried going in other sort of marketplaces for design projects and so on. Some with like no success. Some with higher levels of success. And then I don't know from where I read this or which book it was, and so on. But if you see that a channel is working, you need to give it enough room, 6 months usually, and so on. Then just double down. So I would say those are the channels that we predominantly used.
Cool. What's been the main driver?
The main one I would say is probably SEO.
Right. Okay. Very good. Okay. Good stuff. I like to go through some challenges that you had as well. It's very easy to go through the wins. Not many people share the downs as well. What would you say has been the main challenge for you in the business, whether that's growing or hiring or delivery or anything like that? What would you say if there was one thing?
Probably the number one main thing is keeping up to date with all the changes in technology and how that affects the performance of our clients on Amazon. So if I am to just give a bit more info on this, it means, again, Amazon is one of the probably most difficult disciplines in sort of growing your sales, because you're not only involved with, as I said, having your own website kind of thing, so the design and all those, but also there's algorithm changes. So there's terms and conditions changes, there's a few variables that move. There's AI, for example. A lot of people saw AI as an amazing thing for Amazon. It's going to help them a lot. And now what has happened is you go into these bid wars, for example, that actually increase the price per click enormously. Or a lot of people are going for the same keyword, so therefore there's more competition. And many, many other things that happen. So it's just trying to keep up to date with this and always trying to have an edge into how to deliver an exceptional service to clients. That's, I would say, what is the main challenge and difficult.
How do you solve that?
Very good question. I know. Well, I can't sit here and tell you I know how, but I can tell you some things that work, and I can tell you some things that don't work. Some things that don't work is trying to reinvent the wheel from every single point. Okay, it would be not correct for me to say, well, we've got this process so perfect that every single department is innovative and so on. No, there's quite a few agencies out there who are way bigger than us, etc. Some of the things that they do and they share online, for example, work. Some they don't. It's just not BS, really. So then it's just trying to see what people are doing, trying to keep up to date with other like events. So I go to a lot of events, I do workshops, I go on various sort of podcasts and things like that. So try to keep up to date with experts as well, and then understanding how can these be applied to our agency and our reports and our internal data and things like this. So that is one element that does help a lot. The other thing is try and think about, end of the day, try to think about and measure the client satisfaction. So it's not all just driven in terms of our service is not just make people money on Amazon. Our service for some really big accounts is actually we save them time because they're going to have maybe 2 to 3 people full-time working on an account, checking if there's returns, checking about messages, checking about issues, etc. One of our clients in US, for example, got their account closed because they had an internal team that was managing Amazon for them. It was a small mistake. It could have happened to anyone, really. We're not managing their US business. We're managing their Canada business, but that got their account down. We're talking about $22,000 a day in lost revenue from this. Plus, they get penalties from Amazon because the stock is stuck there. So Amazon says, you need to remove this stock. And every day that you don't, I'm going to charge you, right?
Yeah.
So that, we put them we'll put them in touch with our experts, etc. They got that there fixed and so on. But that is another element. A lot of people think that agencies just create revenue for clients, but there's also other value that goes in there, whether it's R&D, whether it's the design aspect or saving time, etc.
Yeah, and I guess when you're working like the people running these the brands, they've only ever seen their brand and how it works in yours, so that you've got an external person that's in different countries or in different industries. You've sort of seen a bit of everything, so you can then be that person to lean on and go to when things out of that they've not seen before happen.
Yeah, and I can see it. It's very, very scary. It's very comforting as well when you encounter someone on the call and it's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what this problem is. Now this is etc. It happens like this. It does add value and it does make sense. I understand them, and this is why there's a premium that comes with getting an agency. We've worked with over 500 brands. Like quite a couple of those are probably in your household, so they're household brands. So that experience comes in hand when you are launching or growing your Amazon sales, because some mistakes can get very expensive. And with packaging compliance, especially for some clients that move from US over to Europe, for example, and so on.
Yep. Yeah. What do you want to walk us through like what a typical client comes to you for? So in terms of, I don't know, they want some growth in a certain area or they've got a certain problem going on. What does the typical engagement start off like?
Okay. So tell me, and to make it a bit interesting, tell me what was the last thing you bought on Amazon?
What was the last thing? Might be this microphone.
Microphone, perfect. Got it. Okay. So, let's go. So the microphone brand, let's say, I'm not sure how they spread, like pronounced. Rode is what I have here. A lot of people have them. I see them, or there's other brands as well. Okay, so let's say this brand. Usually, we're gonna get them maybe an email on our from one of our forms, and it's gonna be something like, for example, we need some support with Amazon. Our current agency is not been delivering. Sales are the same the last 2 years, for example. We think there's more that we could be doing. Also, we'd like to explore the possibility of selling in Europe or US or Australia, etc. So then that would be picked up by our sales team, analyzed, and then depends who's going to go on the call. Let's say it's me that goes on the call. I'll go on a first call with the client and understand exactly what it is that they require. So sometimes they do say, our agency hasn't done anything, for example, and so on. And then you want to drill a bit more into it because, in all honesty, if the agency has done a lot of work and that hasn't paid off, then maybe it's not a good fit at the beginning. Maybe there's something wrong with the expectations or the product or something. So this first call really is about understanding. It's a discovery, understanding what they need. They understand who we are. We go through a comprehensive presentation. We showcase them our expertise, our experience, the fact that we've worked with over 500 brands, and that with us, you talk to one agency that does everything Amazon, everything from photography to SEO, PPC, design, DSP. It's the whole range. Now, if they would like to go ahead with a quote, we'll do a second meeting, for example. We'll go ahead with that, and then we'll present the quote and take it from there, really.
Cool. What is there any? What should we go? Is there like one problem that is quite common for people to come with you, whether that's they want to, like say, go on then, I'll let you go.
If there's one comment, it's advertising costs are up.
Right.
Our cost of selling on Amazon is up. What do I do? 95% is this. Okay? I'm talking mainly about not expansion one. So it's not about if I get 100 emails, 95 are going to be talking about because I'm just, So the UK companies that have an issue with UK Amazon, 95% of them are going to be saying, our cost of selling on Amazon is up. What can we do about it? For US, it's a bit different because they have the same issue, but they probably don't contact us for that reason. They contact us because they want to expand into UK and Europe. So a lot of US companies, they see Amazon EU, and for the sake of this conversation, I'll put the UK as it used to be back in the day in the EU. So that is a strategy for them to diversify. So those are the main two things. Cost of selling on Amazon. How do I expand on Amazon UK and Europe from a compliance, DI, and consulting point of view on that?
Cool. Okay. And I want to hear you said it before we started recording, we can talk about obviously the B2B lead generation, which I my background from, and a bad experience from that. I probably know what you're going to say already, but do you just want to go into that and I can delve into that a little bit?
Yeah. I don't remember what it was, but it was like maybe one of those courses or master course or something like this, which was free, by the way. So it's not that from someone talking about how to grow agencies and things like this. And they were talking about the topic of, you know what, if you're going to try a lead generation strategy, don't maybe give it 2 quarters. So 6 months for one. If it doesn't work out and you've given it like the full attention and everything, then switch to something else. Which is pretty logical, I would say. Even for email marketing, you wouldn't see, rarely, I would say, you would see results of month 1, right? You need to do your split A/B testing, funnels, I get it. SEO might need more than 6 months and all that. So anyhow, about a couple of years ago, we used this agency to do some lead generation for us. Now, this was actually an old client of mine, funnily enough. That's a very funny story. So they launched the supplements brand. COVID hit. They had big issues with it. Then, they came to us. We said, this is not going to really work very well on Amazon. Then they're like, Alex, we'll go with you. I'm like, why? He said, well, because you're the only consultant that told us this is not going to work on Amazon. And we share your fears. And I'm like, then why are you doing it? Are you mad? He's like, no, but that's what we want, one honesty. And I'm like, well, okay. So we launched it on Amazon. It didn't go very well, as I expected, because, if you're going to do something like supplements, you really need to be different. There's just a lot of good omega-3s out there. There's a lot of good magnesium ones out there. So how this ties in is after a couple of years, keeping in touch, I was like, hey, how's the business? Are you guys doing well? Did you manage to exit it or anything, etc.? I know Amazon did go well, but maybe some other channels. No, etc. I'm like, oh, okay, we went on a call, we discussed, and then it's like, well, now I'm doing this lead generation services. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I wouldn't mind that. It might be useful. So we started that process, but then this is what happens: is people are not very open sometimes and honest to set expectations up front and what's going to happen. So when we went in, I was told what the fee was, and then I had to run a quick calculation. I said, well, okay, you know what, this is expensive, but lifetime value of a client, if they can book me, maybe if because of their work, I can get one client a month, and then, okay, that's not too bad, actually. No one told me the hidden fees, though, and the little things. For example, software. Who's using software for lead generation? I'm like, I thought they're going to be doing. Well, no. Now you start paying for things like, I don't know, Apollo, Clay. Again, I don't have affiliations. It's not that I like them or not, but they're expensive. Like just getting a lot of these tools, right? This did that, then that does that, then that does that, and so on. So all of a sudden, realistic number, we're talking about another £1,500 on extra on top on just software.
Yeah.
So as a business owner, you're like, well, okay, that doesn't sound very good. Then we're like, okay, we're ready to send emails. Yeah. Where's the emails? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, well, we need the email base. I'm like, guys, what I do is I help companies grow on Amazon. I don't sell emails, right? So I don't have that. So then, it's one of those things that it's like, I felt it was someone telling you, here's a Porsche. And you're like, oh yeah, great. And then you might say, well, Alex, if you're dumb enough to buy a Porsche and not know that it's going to cost a lot on fuels and taxes, etc., then it's your fault. I get it, but also there surely has to be something that is not as evident as a Porsche that people are going to tell you, well, you're going to need to send about 10,000 emails a month, for example. Those emails are going to cost you, I don't know, let's say, whatever, 1p each. So that's an extra 1 grab, if they're verified and if not overused, and. So that wasn't, we did it for a year. So to be honest, because I wanted to give it a good chance. At the beginning, didn't go well. Then it got better, but then it reached another point, which was actually very bad. And that was my end. So it wasn't the fact that software was very expensive, and it wasn't the fact that we were running low on emails, because we refined this process. I even hired 2 people internally to just do that and support. Because end of the day, the messaging was very good and we were getting some meetings here and there. What really fell apart was that the main person running that activity wasn't the business owner. There was another person who was actually was the expert of the emails, etc., who actually was working full-time for another company. So they were like a freelancer of Fiverr or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, guys, again, I'm paying something like close to $5,000 a month. And the main person doing this has a full-time position on another company. Like, not an agency. He's like, I'm telling you, he's working full-time for, I don't know, for Vodafone, okay, or Free Mobile. And on his part-time, maybe he has some time to deliver a 5K project a month for my agency. And maybe there's another 2 or 3 agencies out there that are in this. So that was for me where it was like, this is why mistakes are happening. This is why I see we're not sending these emails. This is why I see we didn't get that data. And so sorry for the long answer, Tom, but that was a story which is, quite close to my heart and painful, because end of the day, it wasn't the quality of work that went in, but it was how many hours actually someone was working on this, because the agency wasn't honest and transparent.
No, and that's actually not what I thought you was going to say, because usually
I thought I'm going to say email is not working.
Sorry, we yeah, and it has changed. I said to you before, like, yeah, you'll get some response in that. I don't. How long ago was that?
So that was 2 years ago. So it was right before the AI started blasting like 1,000 emails to each person a day, kind of thing. But it was still at a point where a lot of these people, if you weren't like delivering value up front and very concise and like the amount of times I've got people who tell me, Alex, what would, for example, we've worked with companies exactly like yours to do this. And I'm like, okay, send me their names. And then there's like, well, we have. And I'm like, you can't just send that message. You can't just say agency UK, company like yours, and just do it for everyone. So you need to be very crystal clear.
And that is why, like, the reason that you're getting loads of emails now is because the barrier to entry to send 1,000 emails a day is so low. Like, it doesn't cost anything now. The softwares have changed in the last, probably 2 years, 3 years, and that anybody can do it now with what, 500 quid, if that, a month. And it's just completely changed. Now, the reason for it not working anymore is because of the sheer volume that you're getting every single day. Like, I bet you've got at least 10 today of offering you lead generation services, saying that they're promising some outrageous claims, and then for that reason, it's then, and it happens in all industries. There'll be like your customers will be receiving emails from Amazon experts every single day. So it's really hard for then genuine businesses to cut through that noise, and actually the ones that could help you out and do a good job don't get through that way. So that's why we've completely turned it on its head, basically, and gone the opposite way of we're building relationships and we're not trying to sell you something. We're not trying to sell you something straight away anyway, which is definitely where it's going. Like, if the people that are going to be blasting emails for the next year and then have to move on to something else, they're just not going to work, and they'll have to start a supplement brand or something again.
Understand. I know.
Do you want to take us through some, like, any results that you've got, like case studies, specific stories that you thought that's worth shouting about?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Can I share my screen? Is that like easier? Is that possible, or should I just try from the top of my head? Whichever one you prefer.
So this, we'll do both. Let's do both. Do you want to?
Okay. So I'm just gonna go through them and see what works. So basically, we've worked with quite a few type of companies, whether they're supplement brands, whether they are household. I would say the majority of them, if I were to pick maybe 3 sort of categories, it would have to be around beauty category, beauty, cosmetics, etc. We're probably one of the leading ones in the UK, if not the leading one, agency in that field. Second one would be supplements. And third one was probably going to be around the clothing sector, I would say.
Right.
Clothing or cosmetic. So, I'm just out of, because we've worked with over 500 brands, I'm just going to
Go through
and show some of this so I can remember the story as well and go through them. So let's see. Right. So these guys were on Dragon's Den, Pana, amazing company, great people. They have a great story. They want to essentially get rid of plastic from the toothpaste and tooth care industry, whether it's your brush, your toothpaste, etc. These guys, they went on, they found us 2 days in. They tell me, "Oh, Alex, by the way, tomorrow our Dragon's Den episode is going to go live." And I'm like, "Oh, and you haven't got stock on Amazon?" That's
Yeah.
like, "Are you guys ready?" So basically, they had, but as you can imagine, in 15 minutes, they got sold out. 15 minutes, they got sold out. They did the sales back then. The sales that they did in 5 months, they did them in 15 minutes.
Wow.
So we stayed with them. The new CEO came. New CEO had a mate who worked for another Amazon agency. They got us out. New CEO took the company down quite a lot in terms of Amazon sales. And then, anyhow, now we're back in and we try to help them again. So, yeah, so a lot of these brands are quite interesting cases, whether it's this, for example, brand is probably in your household due to NDAs. I cannot say who they are. This brand, for example, similarly is one of the fastest growing mushroom coffee brands globally, if not the fastest growing one. So we help them launch on Amazon, because launching on Amazon is a sensitive thing. It's not something that's very easy. You've got compliance, you've got many things that go in there. These guys have a candle. Inside the candle comes with a diamond. So essentially, you buy it for gifting and so on. We've been supporting them for over 3 years on that front. We've helped the vaping company in the UK increase their sales by quite a bit on Amazon. Now, all the exact numbers are inside here, but each one of these is like, I don't know if you've ever watched the House, you know, the TV series, the Doctor House.
No.
No, it's a doctor essentially, and that basically each episode is a different case of a patient.
Right. Yeah.
So each Amazon account, it's kind of like this. It's very exciting, really. Whenever I go on the call with even not a client, even a lead or a potential client, I'm just gonna give them as much as free value as I can, really, because it's interesting to me to see what is their product, what are they facing, etc. And sometimes, I've had someone who never really signed up with us, but I sent him an email to send to Amazon, and they got £18,000 back from Amazon with one email, straight back, because Amazon had made a mistake. So, and also another account we've done similarly, but that's a very big account. We got them $180,000 back from Amazon, and they're not a client of ours. It was just because of bad experience.
Nice. Yeah, and then like that goodwill, if you like. I'm sure it'll come back when they want to look at services again, and it just comes back. Like,
If anything, I think it makes us a bit unique in this space.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of the times it's just a copy-paste report that is sent to everyone, and then at least we're not trying to do this. Now, it might not be the optimal way to grow an agency, etc., but certainly, again, it goes against our ethos, which is honesty, really, and just saying things as they are.
Yeah. So running short on time, but final few things. You mentioned something earlier about the company that came to you that you said this isn't going to work. What do you look for, or what can you see in a product that you think, yeah, this is going to do well on Amazon?
Okay. Look, so same way as your industry has evolved, Amazon has evolved as well. So it used to be the case where you would try and find a gap in the market that someone is not selling and just sell that product. That doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's full. There's tools, there's sellers from all over the world, even Chinese manufacturers sell now. So that's not it. The brands that I would say, it's very similar to, again, I don't know if you've seen the show Dragon's Den, but it's very similar to that sort of effect. So when the dragons are going to be telling you, these are the things that I'm looking for. Something like, I see the pitch, I understand what it does, it solves a problem, or if it's to get a desire going, then it's very clear I'm doing this. It's a bit unique, and just by looking at it, you can see how much work has gone in. That's why for us, we don't just work with any company. We have a specific sort of threshold that we work with in terms of clients, because in order for you to succeed on Amazon, you need to have gone through the difficult part of building a brand, starting to establish it, having customer support, having heard of your customer reviews and building it and improving the versions of the product, you need to have a 4.5 star and up product really on Amazon. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Even if it does for the short term, it's definitely one for the long term. So that's some of the main things I see is company size, how many people are working on the e-commerce side, if it's a very big company, the products, the reviews, and perceived value, which is the number one deciding factor when it comes to selling on Amazon. And essentially, if on the first meeting, I can understand if it's something that actually we can support with, because it could be multiple factors, in which case might not be the right fit.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. I've not had anybody that's just a specialist in Amazon, so it's been interesting for me. I always like to finish on like what's next and where the business is going, and maybe some. You said there's a lot of changes that happen when selling on Amazon. What is coming in the next few years, do you think? I know you mentioned AI and cost of advertising. Was it going up on there a lot?
Yeah.
What is coming in the next few years, do you think?
Yeah, so there's quite a few. So obviously, e-commerce is one of those industries where it's at the forefront of technological adaptations in terms of marketings and things like that, right? So because it's also very competitive and easy to deploy in a sense. But some of the main drivers right now that I see, at least for the next 3 years, because it's all evolving very rapidly, extremely rapidly, I would say, to the point where even in 1 year from now, maybe what I say now might be like out of date. But 100% video is a very, very big thing. So having videos of your product, what it does, but also UGC content, that's very, very popular. Now, arguably, a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on AI generated UGC. I think it's going to be against Amazon terms and conditions in the very near future, because it's fake reviews in a sense, whereas real UGC content is actually generated by your user base. So that's one. The second one would be probably expansion into other marketplaces. So Amazon Ireland came up live this year. Amazon is expanding in Europe. So how you keep up with this, that's going to give you an edge. The other thing is AI-led search. So on Amazon, you might go and put like a good microphone noise cancelling for podcasts. And then you might see a big list. And then you're like, well, I want one that has maybe, I don't know, where it's super sensitive to sound, or for your sport, maybe has 2 auxiliary ports, whatever it is, right? So that sort of refinement that is not easily done by the filters, but goes a bit more niche. That is led by Amazon's AI Rufus, is what's the name of the AI tool. So how you do SEO for Rufus is quite important. I mean, there's more, but I'm just going to leave it there because I can keep on going. But I would say those things. And if there's like one tip to stand out, I would say being original and not try to just mimic everyone is actually going to show on Amazon. So try and be experimental and try and be a bit unique when it comes to your marketing, design, main image, etc., and your branding. I think that's going to make things stand out as genuine as opposed to mass manufactured, and you have better chances, especially for higher ticket items.
Awesome. Quite a few similarities actually in the email inbox. A lot of noise, and Amazon, lots of products on there, so standing out, doing something different. Quite similar in that regards. Awesome, Alex. If people like the sound of what you do and want to check out what you're doing and reach out to you, where can they find you?
Yeah, sure. So they can find me on LinkedIn. I'm quite active there. So Alex Karagiannis. They can also reach out to our website, so lezzat.co.uk or lezzat.com. That's with double Z. So yep, that's and happy to answer any questions. I mean, again, end of the day, I do enjoy a lot the work that I do in the sense of seeing other people's accounts and products, etc. So even if we're not working, I'm happy to answer anyone's questions, etc.
Yeah, even if you don't work with him, you'll get at least 18 grand back from Amazon from sending an email.
True. The person sent calls me like, because you were like sends my signature and calls me. It's like, Alex, yeah, you remember me? I'm like, oh yeah. You got me 18K. What can I do? I'm like, what do you mean? You wanted a review? I think they left us a Google review, and I think I've got a review on Clutch as well, saying that, you know, if they weren't a client, but that's what they did. And the guy was like, man, in like 30 minutes, you gave me value of 18K. You know, I got paid maybe for half an hour more than a Ronaldo does. Because you put on layers. So what can I do? So I'm like, well, a review would be good, you know. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it in 6 months' time then, since Amazon changes so much, so we can keep doing this one. Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks, Alex.
Okay, thank you very much.